Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. We are glad to have you around. So we don't know where you are at, but here in South Carolina we are currently under a heat advisory and it is hot.
Yes, it is.
Are you hot, bud?
Yes.
So I know it's not just me being 22 weeks pregnant and feeling absolutely miserable in the heat, considering our homestead is off-grid in South Carolina, which means we don't have access to AC 24/7 because we don't have the power supply to do that. Yes, we have solar, but to have solar in enough quantity to run AC 24/7 in the hot South is just an astronomically large solar powered system that we just have not had the money to put in yet. We're making do. We're trying to stay cool. We are running the AC some, using our generator as a backup power source. But do you know who doesn't get AC on our homestead even on days like today where the heat advisory is out there and people are warning us to stay inside and stay cool? And that's these rabbits. So if you are new to rabbits, you may not know that rabbits do not tolerate heat very well at all. Like at all. Rabbits are bred for cool weather, not hot weather. This means that while they can successfully kindle in negative temperatures, having them in the summer can be a whole lot bigger challenge. So being off-grid, we don't do a lot of the things that you may see some other rabbitries doing to keep their rabbits cool, and there's a reason for that other than being off-grid. And I'm going to ruffle some feathers, or ruffle some rabbit fur if you want to put it that way, with this next statement, but it's got to be said, and we're gonna say it, aren't we, mama? Rabbits should not have AC, ice, misting fans, or any of the above to keep cool in the summer. I know some people are going to be really upset that I just said that because they run their rabbitries that way, and you do you, boo. But we are saying no, no, no. There's a reason why we're saying no, no, no. So the problem with having these type of setup in your rabbitry is that you are limiting your rabbit's ability to handle the heat naturally. So rabbits, they grow very fast. You can have multiple generations of them within just a few years, which means we can change how they evolve easily. With people, evolution happens over thousands of years because it takes so many generations to be able to get that programmed in. But rabbits go through generations very quickly, and we can actually truly affect how their body structure is based on what conditions we put them in. So our rabbits out here don't have any AC. They don't have misting fans. They don't have ice, but what they do have are ears. And they also have red veins that go through their ears to help cool them off. That's what rabbit ears are primarily for. Yes, they hear, but they're large to cool the rabbit off. So as blood flow circulates throughout their ears, it comes into contact with cooler air, it cools the blood flow off, it goes down, it's a continuous motion, and so it just naturally cools the body. If you put your rabbits in a situation where they have constant AC, constant temperature control, you're providing ice and misting fans to keep them from getting hot, then those veins in their ears actually start to shrink. Their ears themselves can start to shrink because that rabbit's body no longer needs that equipment to keep itself cool. You are providing the cool for them. And so over time, it'll only take really just a couple of generations, but those rabbits will start having smaller ear veins and smaller ears. They no longer know or have the body capacity to cool themselves off. If you are going to constantly keep your rabbits in that condition, only put them in that condition, only sell them to people who are going to keep them in that same condition where they're constantly air conditioned and everything, you may be okay. Yes, you're going to change the body structure of the rabbit. Their ears aren't going to be as big. Their veins in their ears aren't going to be as big because they don't have to be. Things like that. But you're not going to notice any health effects from it. The problem is, if you take that rabbit and you sell it to somebody like me, what you're going to do is put that rabbit's life in danger, because your rabbit in that air-conditioned AC with ice bottles and mister fans and all that thing doesn't know how to cool itself, and my rabbit have to know how to cool themselves. So if your rabbit comes to my homestead, they are way more likely to have a heat stroke very quickly. In contrast, if my rabbits go to your homestead, they're fine because they're just in a cooler environment. To them, they probably think it's going to be winter time. It's going to be nice and chilly, but they're okay. It's not as big of a deal in reverse as it is if I was to bring a rabbit like that to our homestead, which is why I always ask people when I buy the rabbit, what kind of conditioner your rabbit's kept in? Do you use other methods to cool your rabbits? Because I don't want rabbits on my homestead that cannot naturally provide for themselves. I don't want to put more work into it for me. And you know what's even better? Rabbits don't even need that stuff. They don't need it to keep cool because their bodies are made in a way that helps them stay cool. The one thing that does cause our rabbits to struggle more than rabbits, say, out in Texas or somewhere is the humidity. Now, if you've never lived with somewhere that has high humidity, you may not understand what this is like. But picture this for a second. You take a hot shower and you've got the bathroom door closed and there's no vent fan on, no windows open, nothing like that. So you've basically trapped yourself in a steam room, kind of like a sauna. So imagine taking that hot, steamy air from your bathroom after your hot shower and taking it outside with you. And that is what it is like 24/7 here in the Southeast. The humidity is ridiculous. I can't tell half the time if I'm sticky, damp from sweat or just from how much moisture is actually in the air. It's a problem. And we have went without rain for weeks and weeks now. So there's nothing to cool it off. There's nothing to wash away this hot stickiness.
No.
And we're melting, aren't we?
Yes, we're melting like melting our lips.
It's melting our lips?
Yep.
Oh my goodness, we're melting our lips. So the question then is, what do we do to keep our rabbits cool and to help them handle the heat? The number one thing we do not do at all is breed our rabbits in the summer. I am 22 weeks pregnant, as I've already said, and I don't want to be pregnant in this summer. And I don't have on a fur coat. Our rabbits have on a fur coat. Could you imagine being pregnant, having increased blood supply so that it's more in your body that has to be cooled down, and then having a fur coat on and being outside in 100-degree weather where the humidity is ridiculous? No. Anybody would develop a heat stroke from that, especially these guys who can't take their fur coat off or anything like that. So that's number one thing. If temperatures are above 85 degrees sustained during the day and not dropping below 60 at night, we're done breeding. We breed fall, winter, spring. That's our 3 seasons here on our homestead. And this summer, like now, I do still have babies, as you can see them all behind me, but that's because they were the last kits bred on this homestead and they're just growing up. I have one group that's waiting to be processed right now, and then these will all be processed in about another 8 weeks or so, and then we will be done until next fall, winter time. What we also do in the summer is we pare back our numbers. So we go back to only breeders, only ones we for sure want to breed next year, and only limited number of kits that we want to raise up to breed in the fall. We way cut our numbers back. I don't even know how many rabbits I currently have on the homestead. I'm guessing somewhere around 35. Within the next 2 months, we will drop down to about 10. And then we start building them back up in the fall, winter, spring, and then in summer, we cut them back again. Doing that helps us to conserve our resources and to really focus on the rabbits we have and keeping them cool naturally. The next thing that we do to help keep our rabbits cool on our homestead is we provide shade. Now, our cages are open on this side, but there are shade trees above us on the side that faces the sun. So right here, they have a shade cloth. So this shade cloth is real simple. I got it from Amazon. I double it up to make it super thick. No sun can come in from that way. This way is all shaded. The back side of these cages is our rabbit colony that's fully covered. And the back part right here has our rainwater catchment system and the forest behind it, so it's covered. So these rabbits in the cages don't experience any direct sun onto them during the summer. And we do that because direct sunlight makes you much hotter than if you're in the shade. So we put them in the shade to help keep them cool. Other than not breeding in the summer, that is the absolute #1 recommendation that I give every single rabbitry who is anywhere where it gets above 85 degrees during the summer. Please, please provide some kind of shade for your rabbits. The next thing that we do to help keep our rabbits cool in the summer is we provide cool drinking water. Now, if you haven't seen our videos back here, they are our rainwater catchment system. So the top roof of our colony has gutters on it. All of the water runs down, runs in to these 4 buckets back here. They're like, I don't know, 50-gallon pickle barrels. So it's 200 gallons of water back there. It stays in the shade, plus it's a very, very thick food grade plastic. I don't know what kind of plastic it is, whatever they ship pickles in. And that helps keep that water nice and cool. So we give all of our rabbits cool water. It's best to do it in the morning and when it's super hot out, to make sure they have cool, refreshing water to keep themselves hydrated. Now, as you can see, Miss Manali here, she is laying down to keep herself cool, because this is allowing airflow to come up and under her belly to help cool herself down. So what you can do that will not interfere with a rabbit's ability to naturally cool herself is to provide something cool for them to lay on. Now, a lot of people think ceramic tiles. We have done that, but I've had some people say that their ceramic tiles get hot, and I'm betting I know what the case is. So when you go for a ceramic tile for your rabbits to lay on, you want to look at thick tiles, not thin tiles. None of that shiny, glossy stuff. You want them laying straight on that ceramic stone. Another great option is like marble. If you can get like little chunks of marble for them to lay on, maybe somebody did their counters and they have excess where they had to trim them down or something like that, you can do that. The rabbits, when they get overheated and they need a cool place to lay down, will go and lay on those. Now, in our rabbit colony, you can see one of our rabbits down here. What they do is they dig in the dirt and they lay down on that cool dirt to cool themselves off. So it's the same principle with the ceramic or marble tiles that you can put in your cages and help keep them cool. We do find that cages seem to make our rabbits struggle more in the heat than our rabbit colony or our rabbit tractors, because in the tractors and in the colony, our rabbits are able to lay against the ground and naturally cool themselves. So the ceramic or marble tiles in the cages really kind of helps them benefit from that. Also, do not put any ceramic tiles in direct sunlight, or that's going to cause them to heat up. Putting it in the shade will help them to stay cool. But y'all, it's that simple. That's it. That's all we do to keep our rabbits cool in the summer. We don't breed when it's over 85 degrees. We provide shade, we provide cool drinking water, and we provide a ceramic or marble tile for those in our cages to lay on, or access to the ground for our other rabbits that aren't in the cages to help naturally cool themselves down. As I've stated, this helps our rabbits better be able to cool themselves naturally. Now, if you are like us and you know you are going to be in somewhere hot, and even somewhere hot and humid or something like that, and it's going to be very, very hot for part of the year, you want to breed rabbits for heat resistance. We breed for heat resistance. We want you to breed for heat resistance to really help your rabbits out. Now, you remember how I said if you put them in a cool location over a few generations, it's going to cause them to not have an ability to protect themselves naturally against heat. It is the same if you breed in hot locations and only provide natural methods for them to cool themselves down and still use those body functions appropriately. So one thing you can easily do to help your rabbits be more heat resistant is to breed for longer ear lengths. Longer ears allows them to circulate more blood flow and cool themselves down quicker. Now, the one caveat to this is if you are breeding show rabbits, some breeds have minimum or maximum ear lengths for that breed. And if you breed for an ear length that is outside of that minimum or maximum, your rabbit will be disqualified from showing. We don't breed show rabbits, we breed meat rabbits. If you breed pet rabbits, that's not as big of a deal. But show rabbits, you do need to look up the ARBA, American Rabbit Breeders Association, Standards of Perfection for that breed, and see if there is an ear length minimum or maximum before you try to breed for longer ear length. Now, many people have heard of the Tamuk rabbit. It was bred at Texas A&M University of Kingsville. That's what TAMUK stands for. And those rabbits were bred to be more heat resistant, to be able to breed in the summer heat and not go heat sterile, things like that. And what makes those rabbits special is their long ears. That is the only identifying breed characteristic of a Tamuk rabbit, because all they are rabbit mutts. They have been crossbred from many different rabbit breeds to get these longer ears that stand up just like the New Zealand's, not fall over like, you know, the lop-eared rabbit. And so that helps. Longer ears is where it's at. Providing fresh green forage. You don't want to go out and just pick a whole bunch of green foods for your rabbits if they've never had it. Our rabbits are fed a pellet-free diet. They get lots of green foods. They've had them from birth. They love them. What's special about green, fresh foods is that it contains a high moisture content. Hay is great. We love hay. We feed hay to our rabbits. We feed hay to our goats. We give it to our chicken. Love hay here on our homestead, but it's dry. Its moisture content is dried out. Fresh green foods have a high moisture content in them, and so when you feed them to your rabbits during the summer, it helps them to keep up their fluid intake, which will naturally help them handle the heat better. Just like when you're outside in the sun, you should drink more water to keep hydrated. Our rabbits get fresh green foods to help them stay hydrated. Another thing you can do breed-wise for your rabbits to keep them cool is to not breed lop-eared rabbits. That sounds awful, right? Lop-eareds are cute. I really love the long ears. You know, I'm talking like over a foot long lop ears. They're cute, but they trap heat, they trap moisture, and they don't give the rabbit as easy of a time of cooling themselves as the rabbits with the ears that stand straight up. So we don't have lop-eared rabbits on our homestead because it would be harder to keep them cool. So if you are open to looking at other breeds of rabbit, look at ones whose ears stand up and you will have an easier time with your rabbits in the heat. Anything else you would like to add, Manali? I think that's all. She just wants more green foods, and Declan took them to the rabbits in the colony, so she's a little disappointed right now. So friends, if y'all are struggling in the heat, especially if you're struggling in the heat and humidity, and you are looking for ways to keep your rabbits cool, I hope this video helped you, because this is what we do on an off-grid homestead where we don't have all of those fancy abilities to provide ice and AC and misters and all the things like some other people do. It is what it is. Our rabbits actually benefit from it instead of suffering from it. They still stay nice and cool. We've only ever lost one rabbit to heat stroke, and she was pregnant. She was bred when it was cool out, and we had a major heat wave come through and it ended her life. And I've been more careful about it since then, really focusing on 10-day forecasts when we start to get warmer, and we've never ever had another issue after that. So I'm just saying, this is what works for us, and I hope it works for you. All right friends, so that is all we have for you today. We hope to see you again on a future video, whether it's about our shed to house build, our off-grid homestead here in South Carolina, or our meat rabbitry. We look forward to seeing you in the future. So we hope you'll stick around. Until next time, friends. Bye. We will see you later.